Hello and welcome to Pull the Other One right here on River Radio. This is a show where we take a light-hearted look at events in today's world and around Berkshire by mismashing a traditional comedy panel show whilst also getting to know our very special guests. Joining me this week, we have our resident contestants. On the one side, the talented DJ and presenter, the awesome Chloe Sinclair, better known as Miss C. And on the other side, this guy was once in a group called the Symbolics. Sim left, and he carried on by himself. It's Pratik Barman. Today, joining us is a very special guest. This chap is a stand-up comedian, a director, a writer. He has worked all over the world, including Florida, Bulgaria, Tenerife, UK, and he's now here on Pull the Other One. It's Matt Fong.
Hi, thanks for having me, Brian. It's great to be here with Miss C and Pratik Barman.
It's catching.
That's all right. We call him worse.
Sorry about that slip up.
Pratik Barman. I wish I was.
Matt, the way this works is we're going to find out a little bit more about you later on, if that's okay. But first of all, we're going to crack straight on with round one, which is news review. I'll give you a subject line of a story, and all you have to do is let me know your ideas on what that story is about. Points will be awarded for any amusing or even correct answers. So let's start off. It seems like a good place to do so at story number one. This is the story about Dulux apologizes after making fun of what?
Is it a new colour chart for tea?
Is it Dulux execs apologise after making fun of watching paint dry tournament that they're the official sponsors for?
It's not actually far away, that, but yeah, no, it's not.
Is it putting the Dulux dog in the next rated movie?
Oh, where is your mind, Pratik? Do you know what? Those dogs are actually becoming rare. They're almost extinct.
Wow.
Are they English sheepdogs?
You don't see them very often, do you? I have only ever seen one.
Is it Dulux execs apologise after making breed of dog nearly extinct?
Ah, good answer.
Nearly. We're getting there slowly.
Is it Dulux apologise for lending Boris Johnson the paint to refurbish his flat?
Is it something to do with football, like some sort of dodgy team like Spurs or something like that?
Yeah.
I know. Is it they're the team that have dodgy chicken on their badge? It's a chicken and a beach ball, isn't it? I don't know where they were going with that marketing, but I can see why it didn't catch on.
Well, actually, you're right, Chloe. Actually, you and Matt kind of right. It's about sponsorship, and it's about sponsorship for a football team. It's the story that after being named the new sponsor for Spurs, Dulux posted a picture of their famous English sheepdog. It uses in adverts getting a pretend tour of the new White Hart Lane. But as comments from fans started to roll in, the brand's responses took an unexpected sarcastic turn. Responding to one message asking whether the Dulux dog could play centre back, it said it might do a better job. Another post asked if the brand planned to repaint the trophy cabinet, prompting a reply that suggests that surfaces should be dust-free before painting. Question number 2. Welsh River runs white after what?
Is it after all the sheep get their highlights washed out?
I knew sheep was going to be coming in here somewhere, but it's not
I'm
that
Welsh as well. I shouldn't be saying that sort of thing. I feel like a cheater.
Is this one Dulux in trouble again?
You get a point anyway. I like that.
Is it the white supremacists trying to wash their sins away?
Ooh.
Don't know where that came from.
Is it Swansea washing their kit?
Why would it be white?
But their kit is white.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Okay. No, it's not that.
More Welsh knowledge.
It's amazing how up to date us Welsh people are on all of our Welsh knowledge. Not. Is it something to do with a milk truck? I seem to have heard. I remember a story with a milk truck being, overturning in Wales. I don't remember it being to do with the lake, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together.
It was about a milk truck. It was actually the story that a river in Wales has turned white after a milk tanker overturned and spilt its contents into the river. A tweet from Natural Resources Wales read, "An unknown quantity of milk has entered the river Dulux today following a road traffic accident that involved a milk tanker which left the road." One tweet said, "There's no point in crying over spilt milk.
I knew that was coming.
I think we
That's
all
a
did.
perfect opportunity for it.
I know, it had to be done. I do apologise. But
They need that cleaned up quick because that would be smelly. Like a 3-day-old cheesy river is not going to be a good thing to be around.
At least it moves fast, though, right? It would carry it. So maybe it'd be more like cottage cheese by the time it got to the end.
They should say you should never eat still cheese. You should always get the fast-moving cheese.
Okay, yes,
Excellent.
you're absolutely right. Well done, Chloe. That's another point for you. So no change there. Question number 3. Canadian MP does what on a Zoom call?
Is it he forgets his cameras on and accidentally tells the truth?
Yeah, it's unlikely.
Canada, so it's got to be about either... I'm going to go with a Canadian MP challenges bear to an ice hockey match on Zoom.
That would actually probably go viral, I'd imagine, but it's
I'd
not
watch.
that particular story.
Is it the French-Canadian can-can?
Well, an MP has that in his room.
No, does it? By himself.
Oh, I think I know. Does the Canadian MP tell Jackie Weaver that she has no authority?
No, he doesn't.
Canadian MP tells America we are hard.
Well, he might have been hard. I don't know, but it wasn't that particular story. Does anybody know the right answer?
Is it something to do with was he accidentally naked from the waist down?
Genius. Well done, Chloe. You're always sharp and on the ball. It's good to hear. Yes, you're absolutely right. This is the story about a Canadian MP. William Amos appeared completely naked in a parliamentary Zoom call. He later apologised for his bare-faced cheek, saying that he was changing back into his work clothes after going for a jog. He went on to say that he was embarrassed by the cock-up.
That's hilarious. It reminds me of a story. I was once at Burning Man and I went past a thing and it said party naked. And I thought there's no way I'm going to be naked. So I got an L and I stuck it in the party. So it says partly naked. And I walked in with my bikini on and a tutu. And they said, you can't come in here like that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm partly naked. And they said, no, but it's party naked. I went, it's not what it says on the door. I literally was only in there for 2 minutes just so I could do that.
Was everybody else naked?
Yeah.
Wow. I have to go to Burning Man.
Trust me, it's not the people that you'd expect to be naked. It's usually the people that, you know, shouldn't be naked, really, that go naked.
Well, I think I fit into that crowd, so I might be there.
Okay, well done. Another point there for Chloe. Let's move on. Question number 4. Teenager accidentally does what? Looking for a place to live.
Grows up and stops bothering their parents? Is that just wishful thinking?
Yeah, it never happened.
No,
It's
I
never
know. My
happened.
25-year-old is still very much at home.
I think I might know this one because let's face it, we've all been young, we've all done it. Is it accidentally got human trafficked whilst looking for a place to live?
We're going to have to find out more about that when we have a chat later on there, Matt.
We've all made shoes in other people's houses for rent.
That's a bit dark, Matt, but we'll go with that.
Just me?
Yeah, just you, I think. Is it says please without being sarcastic? What about does the dishes?
Oh, yeah, I like that. Is it teenager moves out and accidentally is nice to parents?
Is it teenager moves into smart home and forgets the house is keyless?
Is it teenager makes excuse for repeated banging noise upstairs?
Anybody know the right answer to this one?
I think I read this story. Isn't it teenager moves into an old people's homeroom?
It is actually. Bizarrely, a teenager who accidentally moved into a retirement village after signing her tenancy agreement without viewing the property. Madison Cohoot, 19, was left puzzled when all of her neighbours appeared to be over the age of 65. When questioned on how the teenager was allowed to move into the retirement village, Madison explained it's an equal opportunity housing that doesn't discriminate on age, despite being designed for senior citizens. One major perk, according to Madison, is I can play my music whenever I want because none of them can hear it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The perk of living next to old people is you could play your tunes and they all go to bed really early as well, don't they?
Exactly.
They're missing a trick.
So, strangely enough, Pratik actually gets a point. Okay, last question in this round then. What is passing through Maidenhead?
Is it the longest limbo ever?
Conga.
That's what I meant.
Is it Amazon's new episode of the Grand Tour where James May, Richard Hammond and Jeremy Clarkson will be passing through Maidenhead? Obviously, Jeremy Clarkson will be in a petrol car. James May will be riding some sort of old train that I think is scheduled to go through. And Richard Hammond is getting piggybacks off locals.
Is it a wild pack of corgis?
Is it Donald Trump's here?
That comes up every week. And dogging. We haven't mentioned dogging.
It was genuine. There was a dogging convention or something, wasn't it? What was that story about?
You mean Crufts?
No, that was it. That they were breaking lockdown rules, weren't they? To go, the bloke who was in Slough broke lockdown rules, travelling 34 miles to go dogging. No, it wasn't. It wasn't him. No.
I'm now wondering if Crufts is a cover-up for an elite dogging situation.
We're obsessed with it. Anybody got the right answer for me?
Is it a train? I'm going with some sort of train, some sort of...
I'm going to go with the right answer. I reckon it's the Flying Scotsman.
It is indeed.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
He kind of did say a train.
You sort of did. This is the story that the Flying Scotsman will be passing through Maidenhead. Not to be confused with the Lying Scotsman, Alex Salmond is not expected. At the end of that round, we are in a position to move on to round 2, and points have been awarded to various people. But before we go into round 2, let's find out a little bit more about Matt. So, Matt, you're a comedian, and as I said in the intro, you've worked all around the world. How did that sort of come about?
I love my job. I think it's one of the best jobs to do in the world. And if I'm in another country, sometimes I'll go and watch a comedy night and I'll go and speak to a few people who are there. And it's everybody faces the same kind of circuit, regardless of what country you're in, whether in Europe, UK, America, wherever. And it's a good camaraderie. And it's nice to see how material either translates or doesn't translate. So I think it's a good exercise for people to, like, even if it's not a paid gig, even if you're just out there on holiday, if you can get like 5-10 minutes on a bill, you should go for it. And then that's how you're going to improve and get better, and hopefully one day be an overnight 10-year success.
Yeah, this is it with overnight successes. There's always a background of hard work, and very often it's 10 years that just people don't know about. But you said something there about how it translates. I'm always interested in that. So when you're working in, say, Florida, or because you've also done work in Bulgaria and then the UK, what is the difference in the humour? Is there one? Do you go consciously in to change the style of delivery, or do you actually just think, I'll just play it by ear on the day?
For the Bulgaria stuff, for the Sunny Beach things, it was just my normal English club set because it was predominantly for English tourists. Whereas in America, it's the proper gritty scene, like the American open mic circuit. So you will get a room full of 30 acts and only 8 of those guys might be able to get on the bill. And if you're from out of town, the chances that you're going to get a spot on the bill go up quite drastically because these guys are coming every week. Like the battle for stage time over there is next level compared to what it is over here. So being given the opportunity of being an out of towner and a foreigner, if you are taking that spot off someone's hands, you better be good, because otherwise they're going to be like, look, dude, this is 5 minutes that I could have had. Or actually, sometimes the American stuff is like 3 minutes. Like I went off the back of doing an hour-long show every night and then went over to Florida for a few weeks. And like the first gig I got there, they were like, yeah, you can have 3 minutes. And I was like, 3 minutes? Like I can't even do my opening in 3 minutes. And they were like, what are you used to? And I told them, I was like, yeah, I've just come off the back of like 30 days of doing 2 hours a day every day. And they were like, oh, okay, so we'll see what you've got. And then I did the 3 minutes, but that 3 minutes turned into 5 minutes because they didn't want me to come off stage. And then it was just getting gigs off the back of that performance because there's so many promoters in the room. That's how it progressed, and you meet loads more people from doing it that way. Yeah.
Have you been heckled over there? What's the crowd like? Are they a bit rough and ready compared to the English?
I listened to one of your other shows where your guest was American, and she said that the British audience is actually really friendly. What I think is it's that she was the cherry act. So what I mean by that is, like, when I'm over in America, I'm the cherry. Like, I'm the top of the cream pie, and everyone goes, oh, he's that something different that stands out. On the whole bill, the chances that they're going to have another English guy, like another half Chinese, half Caucasian English guy on the bill is like 0%. So that's why I think maybe doing gigs over there is a bit easier, because their expectation of what they're going to get is higher because they see me as that cherry. Whereas over on the UK circuit, I'm just another Caucasian comic. Do you know what I mean? I'm just another guy on the bill. So I think that over in the UK is more difficult. It would be the same as an Irish act coming over here or an English act going over to Ireland. They've got that, oh, they're a bit different because they see so many of the same stuff. And obviously comedy's based on life experience. So if you're somewhere where everyone's got the same background, a lot of their material is going to be very the same. And like when I was out in various areas, you do notice like comedians get a similar style from their area. And you can see that in the UK circuit as well. Like the Liverpool circuit is very chat Bants, quite fast paced. Manchester is a bit more dry, I think. Leeds is a bit more wacky. Like you get a couple more character acts, a bit more musical acts out that way. And then London, I think it is so competitive. They have just everything in London. You've got all the types of the regional comedy, but because it's in London, it gets that London polish, which I think isn't necessarily good. I like stand-up comics to be like, I want to hear like Tom Short's voice and that be his comedy, or Raoul Coley, very political, like Sharp, Sid Singh, amazing comic. These guys were very unique, and those three comics are very different comics, and they're probably comics that a lot of people haven't heard of, but they're all on YouTube, and you can go check those guys out. They're really good. But I think having a unique voice is going to make you stand out more, but everybody's fighting for the same stuff. Everyone's trying to find out what's going to make them unique, so it is just real difficult.
Super. Don't go anywhere, Matt, because we're going to find out a little bit more about you very shortly. We're going to a break now. In round 2, it's a fib. We shall continue right after this.
The soundtrack to life in the Thames Valley. River Radio. On the web.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
On your mobile.
Hello?
And on Alexa too.
River Radio.
That's it!
I pronounce that River Radio, but I'm always working on how I say things, and I might not have it right.
Welcome back. You're listening to River Radio and Paul the Other One. It's time for round 2. It's a fib. This is where you have to convince your fellow contestants whether your story is truth or a lie. Your fellow panelists can cross-examine you and give the details of your story to help them decide if your story is true or false. Points will be awarded for guessing correctly. Who wants to go first on this one?
Okay, I'm ready for this. So 2020, I got married with over 150 guests and went on honeymoon to Australia.
Are you still with that person?
Yes.
So what year was it? 2020, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that just sounds like a fib. Nothing happened in 2020.
It can't be true because I don't know whether you've heard of it. Coronavirus happened.
Oh, was that pandemic thing?
Yes, and Australia doesn't like letting anyone in at the best of times, so I don't think you would have got in during that time.
Unless he was already there and got stuck there.
What time of the year was this?
It was early on in the year. I got married in February.
Oh, no, that changes everything. Is it the truth? I sort of guessed because I saw a picture of him and his bride on his Facebook, so I know he did get married.
Oh, I didn't realize that you were going to get Facebook stalked. So basically what happened is we got married at the start of February, just before the Troubles. And then the day before we were supposed to go on honeymoon, like it was really kicked off in the rest of the world. And I rung the travel insurance people to see if we were to not go on the honeymoon, how much money we would get back. And the lovely people at the travel insurance told me that if we were to cancel it, we would get no money back. So I said, you're basically forcing us to go to Australia. And they were like, no, you can cancel, but you won't get anything back. And I was like, okay. And then I shouted to my wife, honey, we're going to Australia. And then we got stuck in Australia.
How long were you stuck in Australia for?
So basically got on the flight and it's a long way to Australia. So what happens is the world still revolves around while you're in this plane bubble. So as we landed in Australia, everything basically got closed down. So we were trying to ring the British embassies and everything just to see what we could do. And they had all been sent home like the week before. So we couldn't call anyone. If we wanted to speak to the British embassy in the UK, obviously you wait up for the time difference, and it was just absolute nightmare. We were stuck over there for I think 5 weeks.
Did you actually manage, because obviously this is true, so we're running with that now, but did you actually manage to have any fun over there at all?
Oh no, the stress of being stuck away from home for an indefinite amount of time with all of my work just evaporating as well. So like I went out being like, hey, I've got a tour. This is going to be my year. 2020 is going to be amazing. Just got married, going to Australia, seeing Fiji. And then the world was like, no, you thought you had plans.
I totally identify with that. I had the same thing happen. Well, not with the marriage, but with the tour and stuff. So
I think if I didn't have so much other stuff get cancelled, because it was like the weight of everything else just piling on top, I just thought, this better make a good 30 minutes.
Matt, did you get put in lockdown then when you were over there? Was you allowed to go into the streets?
So we missed the forced quarantine by 24 hours. So we were really lucky in that aspect. But the thing that we were unlucky with is we had no accommodation booked. We had a cruise booked, but the cruise got cancelled. So we're then like, okay, now we're stuck here for indefinitely. So we hired a camper van, basically, which is the height of luxury. And I'm very edible to most animals in Australia, including all the midgies. So like after the third day of staying in like the national parks where all the mosquitoes and flies and stuff are, I look like a pink spotted leopard.
Oh.
It's an experience, isn't it? It'll be something that you remember for the rest of your life. Pat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that you wouldn't remember your wedding anyway, but...
I'll be honest with you, don't really remember much. But the honeymoon was all right.
But it sounds like it would make a great sitcom, so you could really make it back on that.
Oh, yeah. I've already started writing the show that's going to come off of the back of the marriage, which was the whole reason to get married in the first place. So it's paying off already.
Okay, super. Everybody gets a point at the end of that because that was a true story.
I once swam across the Bristol Channel.
Can I say...
Was it full
false?
of milk?
It was not full of milk.
How long did it take?
Well, it was 2 miles.
A distance isn't time.
Okay, it took me about an hour.
Okay.
In an hour?
Yeah, for charity.
What's the current like?
Current what? Current situation?
The channel current.
Oh, channel current. Okay, it's strong, yeah, but I'm quite well built, so.
That's a lie. We don't need to go
Such
on.
a lie. All right, so how long did you have to prepare for this?
Oh, it took me ages because, I had to grease up and everything. You put some petroleum on you.
Why?
And it's freezing, Chloe. You basically put an all-in-one bodysuit and then you put your petroleum or lubricant on.
Basically, body lube.
Yeah, body lube, yeah. Which I got a lot of for separate issues.
Is that just in case you get caught in a tight fit and then you could slip out?
Yeah.
I really want this to be true. I really do. Just the mental image of you jellying your body up is so pleasing that I want it to be true.
I think you're the only person on earth that ever's been pleased about me lubricating myself, which is...
Yeah, I was going to say, I want it to be false for the exact opposite reason.
I think it's true. No, false. That's what I was saying. I'm going to go with that.
Okay, you're going with false, and Matt.
I'm going to say false, but I'd really want it to be true.
Patrick.
It is completely true. Not.
Oh!
Oh, he always does that. He's not going to get us again, is he?
He does it every time, and I'm always like,
He does. It's annoying that we fall for it. Won't happen again. But you actually get another point. Okay, where are we up to? It must be Chloe.
I once shared the same stage as Madonna.
How far apart in time was Madonna on the stage and you?
A week. You get.
Oh,
If
brilliant.
it was like 15 minutes, I would have been like, nah, false.
It's the same stage, though.
Yeah, same stage, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's
Didn't say the same time.
completely different gigs. Yeah, brilliant.
I think Madonna took the stage with her.
I think she probably brought her own stage, actually.
Where was the gig?
It's an academy.
Brixton Academy. Okay, what year?
Oh, God, now you're asking. It was about 20 years ago, so quite a long time ago.
I'm going to guess at this already. I think it's true because who has a week? When she said a week, it's obviously true. But I bet you she tells all her friends that she shared the stage
Oh,
with
we
Madonna.
shared a stage. We weren't there at the same time. But we still shared a stage.
Yeah, I think that sounds like 100% a true story. That's like one of the stories that I would pull out and be like, hey, yeah, I once sat in the same restaurant as Billy Connolly.
It was a week later, but, same restaurant. So, yeah, it is actually true.
Oh,
It
surprise,
is true.
surprise.
Everybody gets a joke there. And I once sang with Tom Jones.
Yeah, but that's not unusual.
Hey!
But was he there then? Or was it a week later?
He was on the radio and I was in the bath. Come on. Come on, the old ones are the best.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. People got points there, so congratulations if you were one of those people. I think that is the end of It's a Fib. Coming back to you, Matt, just wanted to ask you about, on your website, it says you're politically incorrect.
When it comes to political correctness and people getting offended, right, you need to see where the point of view is coming from. So if it's objectively from a point of malice, then that is bad. If it is from a position of love and respect, then it's a fine joke. And it's always the audience that make that subjective viewpoint. So I've got a joke. I've used it as my opener for the first 5 years of my career. And it was, hello, my name's Mathew Fong. I'm half Chinese, but don't worry, ladies, it's the top half. All right. Okay. So my intro joke is saying that I have a large member. And so I'm trying to disestablish a stereotype. But some people see that as me saying all Asian people have small members, which is not the way that the joke was originally intended and created. So if somebody does challenge me about any joke, and so I have a joke that mentions cancer. It's not about cancer, it mentions cancer. And that's because I write instances that happen in my life. So my mum passed away 2012 of ovarian cancer. It's a very serious issue. A lot more women should be made aware of ovarian cancer. It's very difficult to detect, very difficult to look for, which is one of the reasons why I think it's very important for me to tell my joke that mentions cancer. However, somebody came up to me after the gig and they thought that I was making fun of people who have cancer, but it mentions cancer and it's about the instances and it's about personal journey. And it's always the audience that will assess a comedian's writing. I believe a comedian should be able to say whatever they want, as long as if and when they get challenged, they stand up for their art, they stand up for their creativeness, and they stand up for their views. And if they are racist and or wrong or sexist, and they shout up and they go, oh yeah, I believe this, blah, 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 then the rest of the comedy scene will see who the bad eggs are, and we can go, that's a bad egg, get them out. It's when people don't stand up for the jokes and they go, oh, you wrote this joke and it was racist or it was sexist or it was homophobic. And the people who can't explain why that joke isn't what it is, like I have jokes that mention trans people, and it's never a trans person that comes up to me and goes, oh, that's offensive. It's always some, I don't want to group them because I don't like coining the phrase Karens.
I knew you were going to say that.
But because I don't think it's right. I think that's, again, part of the wrong political correctness, labeling people.
And I know a lot of lovely Karens as well, so it's a bit of a downside on poor Karen.
Yeah, poor Karen. Yeah, forget the segregation. We should just agree that some people are not nice people. But it doesn't mean that you should let them rule how you do your thing. There's nobody out there who can tell me I'm doing my thing wrong, because this is my thing. If you want to question any of my stuff, that's fine. Question me. I'm always happy to get involved in a conversation with somebody else, because either at the end of the day, I'm going to enlighten that person or that person's going to enlighten me. So maybe I am doing something that could be offensive, but it's never, so far anyway, it's never been a person of that group or race that have come up to me. I do jokes about how I look Mexican, but I do those jokes in America where I genuinely get confused as a Mexican person. I love Mexican people. I love all people. So if somebody comes up to me and says, oh, you're sexist, you're homophobic because of something that I've said, first of all, you must have got the wrong impression from the joke. Let's talk about it. That would be the first thing that I would do. And I think that every comedian should do that. Every comedian has the right to do that. And I don't think it's just a right. I think it's our responsibility and our job to talk about all those things that people find it difficult to talk about.
It's actually a really interesting point, because we spoke about it, I think, with Rabia when she was on about the cancel culture and about how a lot of comedians are scared to say anything. And some people are giving up because they just can't deal with the whole being cancelled. But I do think it comes down to intention. Like you were saying, Dave Chappelle has managed to get away with making fun out of every single person in the world, and gets away with it because A, he's taking the mickey out of everyone. He's not signifying one group of people or picking on one group. He does everyone, including his own race. And that's acceptable because it's not picking out one group. And like you said, it's about your intention and it's about the way you put the joke across. You can't be responsible for how people perceive and receive that information, but you can be responsible for what.
Yeah, 100%. It always tells me a lot more about that person than it does about myself.
Do you think that there's a danger, Matt, as you were describing there, to actually do that? Comedian has a responsibility, but to be a comedian, then you've got to be pretty brave and confident in yourself anyway to be able to put yourself up on that pedestal. But do you think
4 pints.
4 pints, yeah. But do you think the tradition, if you like, or the job of a stand-up comic is harder as a result? And is it under threat?
100%, yeah. This last year, I've not made a living from comedy. After spending 10 years dedicating all my time to it, I've actually made myself unemployable. Thank you, comedy. And the government haven't supported me at all. With the way that the circuit looks like it's going to go, first of all, comedy's always going to be there. Comedy's never going to go away. There will always be people who will put on open mics and put on pro comedy nights. The problem is that there's been no inflation in our wages since the 90s, since before I even got in. It's gone down, in fact. So it's not just about, is it going to be a realistic thing to have a career as this? You're going to have to do so many more things. So you can't just be a comedian. You're going to have to be a promoter. You're going to have to produce your own shows. You're going to have to go for the after dinner circuit. You're going to need to write. You're going to need to try and be your own agent, your frontman. Like, I've been in the industry 10 years. I send out my annual email to agents every year, and I just update them with what I'm doing. I'll let them know that, like, in Edinburgh, I had one of the best shows at the Fringe, sold out run, blah, blah, blah. I'm speaking to various people in production companies. I've got meetings with channel heads of commissioners and stuff like that. Still not interested in signing me.
Writing was one of the possibilities that you look at as well, because not just a stand-up, you've got to do all these different things. I was wondering if perhaps you could write some of Pratik's jokes for this show, because I think he's in dire need of it, if I'm honest.
Oh, that's harsh, that is, isn't it? That is harsh.
It's all right, Pratik. You couldn't afford me anyway. But
I totally identify with what you're saying there, Matt, because it's the same for me as a singer, songwriter, and DJ. I literally got to the point where I pushed my feet up and everything last year for the first time. I thought, oh wow, I can push my feet up, and people are seeing the value in me, and I'm not seeing it. I'm waiting for other people to see it. But then obviously that's gone down, and now the worry is that now, because we've had this big break, that everyone's going to be so eager. There's going to be a lot of people that probably will just want to do this stuff for free and don't really think of it as a career. And so I think we're going to have to take a bit of a pay cut on a wage that wasn't really that great anyway. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's...
And people are relying on the old hands as well. Instead of going to these, because I'm still considered undiscovered. I'm an undiscovered talent. And they'll go to these old hands who've been on the circuit for 20 years, who are still doing the working men's clubs routine, which is outdated comedy, in my opinion. It's going to struggle. And then the internet market with all the online stuff, look, with the pandemic, you've created a whole new gigscape, and that's not going to disappear when, like, live comedy comes back. It's a really exciting yet terrifying time to work in the arts.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, I believe we have a small clip then of Matt's material, so let's have a listen. This is Matt Fong.
I'm really glad that Real took note of my rider. I said I will not perform for more than 30 people. You make sure that I have my Coca-Cola and no more than 30 people. And they did that. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. You know what? But my 2020 was supposed to be like the year I broke through into television. Do you know what I mean? I kicked butt in Edinburgh, got all the reviewers there, got a theatre tour. I was going to do my hour show here in Rill, still to 30 people because of my writing. But Mother Nature had other plans, didn't she? No, I got married at the start of 2020. Yeah, thank you very much. The advice I was given from my friends was, don't worry, nothing will change. Yeah, when I got married, the whole world changed. Mental. But there are a few good things to come out of the coronavirus situation, do you not think? You will never have to eat again a piece of birthday cake that has been spat on by a child. Yes! Haribo, don't have to share them. The other good thing that's come out of lockdown, the kids. Lockdown babies. You know those guys who tried to get a dog but couldn't get a dog because everyone had bought a dog and really just split up, but they actually had a kid instead? Yeah, those guys. They had, and they come up with great names, don't they? These people, boy, easy, COVID. Little baby COVID. If it's a girl, Quarantina. She's a little germ. She's great. I've got to that stage in my life where my Facebook wall is no longer filled with pictures of drunken nights out. No longer do I have a picture of a coffee table filled with a mound of cocaine like something out of Scarface. No. My Facebook wall is now filled with pictures of these beautiful little bundles of joy. Babies, yeah!
Awesome stuff. Thanks very much for that, Matt, and good luck going forward with the online stuff and as it reopens, getting back out there to the gigging circuits as well. But it's time now to move right on to round number 3. This is called Did I Stutter? Each contestant is given a subject to talk about for 1 minute. However, repetition, hesitation, or talking complete nonsense is not allowed. Good luck with that one. If any of those occur, your fellow contestants can challenge you, and if they get it right, they take over and can complete the minute to win the point. I may also sometimes randomly pass it on to another contestant if you are just too dull. Okay, so Chloe, you're first up on this one. I'd like you to give me 1 minute, please, on old people's homes. Now.
Okay, so old people's homes. Who lives in them? Old people, I guess. I've just repeated myself.
Challenge!
Yeah, anybody can challenge that. It was blatantly repetition. Matt, it's over to you to continue. You've got 43 seconds to talk about old people's homes.
Old people's homes smell like wee. They have the worst puzzles, and they are filled with people who are near death. There is no reason for anyone to go there apart from to try and get money from a relative who will be soon passing. The food is awful. They eat things that are from the 50s, like ration tins, which is meat, which is not really made of any animals. So the food there is pretty awful.
Challenge.
No.
He said food 3 times.
Said food, yeah.
And
I
Andy
did.
was talking nonsense.
But we like the nonsense, don't we?
I like to defend the old people as well. I think old people's homes are very nice, so we don't get sued.
Yeah, I think so. Pratik, you have got 14 seconds to finish this to win the point about old people's homes.
So I used to work in those people's homes as a care assistant, believe it or not. So I used to wake them up, clean them, go to the shops, do all sorts of stuff. It was really friendly. I had some really interesting stories. They used to go on and on like Chloe.
And that's 1 minute. Well done. I can't believe nobody challenged that.
I said on and
so
on and on and on.
Just to rub it in. To rub in the repetition.
Who is next? It's you, Pratik, with talking about Welsh rivers. Your time starts now.
So I visited every Welsh river in Wales, starting with Abergavenny, Ebervale, Merthyr Tydfil, Swansea, Cardiff, Bridgend, Neath, Port Talbot.
It's just
Challenge.
Please do, for God's sake, Matt.
It was, well, just naming places. So I'm going to go under the talking nonsense.
I'm going to give you that because it's blatant cheating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, you have got the privilege, if you want to call it that, of 45 seconds on Welsh rivers, starting from now.
Lovely. Welsh Rivers is one of the best places to find white water in the UK. If you're interested in rapids, I would definitely recommend going to the Welsh valleys, finding some liquid to roll down a mountain with your best buds in either a kayak or a inflatable ring of some sort, like they do in the American swamps. And
I challenge. There was a hesitation there. He went,
Okay, Pratik, you've got, I say 16 seconds on Welsh rivers.
So I picked up Matt's kayak. I took it down to the river. I paddled very, very, very fast.
And Chloe does a textbook challenge with 7 seconds to go. Rivers, off you go.
What can I say about the Welsh rivers apart from they're gorgeous and they start in one place and then they end up somewhere else? And I've swum in a few of
And
them.
that's it. Well done. Chloe gets the point. Somehow she fumbled through that last 7 seconds and steals the game. Last but not least, round 3, it's over to Matt to talk about naked MPs, please. You've got 1 minute starting from now.
so, as we all know, the Canadian MP was Oh, God. Are you going to say challenge or not?
You got about 3 seconds in there before that.
I know. What I tried to do was use my memory, and instead of making something up, and I went, what was his name?
I think Chloe challenged because she likes talking about naked things. She was mentioning earlier on being into Burning Man and everything. So, yeah.
Oh, right.
I did only make that story because we had the question about the nakedness. It was relevant. But you talk about dogging every week, so I'm sorry.
Brian, how many seconds has she got?
You have got 54 seconds.
Oh, I did so good.
I know that.
You did really
That was
well.
brilliant. That was a record.
Chloe, 54 seconds to talk about naked MPs.
Well, let's be honest.
Everybody's
Challenge.
Wow.
I had somewhere really good to go with that then.
Yeah, the thought of naked MPs is really getting people flustered here, isn't it? But Matt, you're correct to challenge there. You now have 50 seconds on naked MPs.
Amos was caught naked on Zoom, but let's face it, he's not the worst person that we could have caught on Zoom. At least we didn't have Theresa May naked on Zoom. Oh, I've just said naked on Zoom, naked on Zoom, naked on Zoom.
Yes, absolutely. But you challenged yourself there, and it's a correct challenge. So
you can
40
continue.
Seconds to continue on naked MPs.
Done.
Excellent. Okay. So we can all agree that
Challenge.
Okay, we have got 20 seconds exactly then, Chloe, on naked MPs. Good luck with this. People are having a bit of a problem, aren't they? Off we go.
Naked MPs. It's great that they're naked.
challenge.
Okay, Matt challenges there. What are you challenging?
She said naked twice, wasn't it?
Repetition, absolutely.
Repetition, yeah.
It's back to Matt. This is getting easier because you've now got 15 seconds to see if you can stumble your way through to get the point at the end of this round. And your 15 seconds start.
All right, Rishi Sunak and David Cameron actually started the naked MP trend at Eton. They diffed out.
There was an
There was an, yes, indeed, hesitation. Chloe, you now have 6 seconds to complete.
I can't get a point.
Don't worry, you'll catch up.
We are starting your 6 seconds from now.
Okay, so this MP was seen naked on a Zoom meeting, which is great because it's probably the only bit of bare truth that you're going to get.
Well done. Chloe steals the round. Okay, so did I stutter at the end of that round? Chloe is in the lead. We have Matt coming up in second place, and far behind is Pratik as usual. We just have the impressions round and then the quick fire round that will complete this episode of Pull the Other One. Before that, though, we have got a short break, but don't go anywhere. You're listening to River Radio. Welcome back to River Radio. Pull the Other One. We are left with round 4 and then round 5 to drag us to the end of this week's show. Round 4 is all about making a good impression, and this is where each contestant will do an impression of a person from a film, television, or radio show. Other contestants have to guess the person, the character, or the show which they have appeared in. Points will be awarded for each correct answer. So let's start off then as a change. Let's go to Pratik.
You're going to do something or just stand there and bleed?
I don't know what that is. No, I don't.
Is it a film?
It is.
It's a gangster film.
No.
Was that an impression or just a quote?
I think it just came across as a quote.
Sorry, it's supposed to be an impression of a cowboy.
It's not Clint Eastwood, is it?
Clint Eastwood.
It's not.
John Wayne.
No. Shall I have another go at it? Yeah, I'm gonna have another go. You're gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
See, now that
That was better.
was an impression. I have no idea who of, but it was an impression.
We already know it's a cowboy now. He's given us that much. And it's not John Wayne or Clint Eastwood, which are pretty much the only two that I know. So
Is it Woody?
It's not Woody.
is it a new film?
No, it's probably 90s.
Is it City Slickers?
No, it's not.
Is actually the whole Western a bit of a curveball here? Is it a science fiction film?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I was like Aliens versus Cowboys, or
Yeah.
like, were you Daniel Craig?
You got any other lines from the character?
No, because I stole it from the internet and never watched it.
That doesn't help.
That explains the quality of the impersonation.
So give us so it's an American film and it's country and western style and it's from the 90s and it's obviously a man. And is this an actor that always played those kind of roles, or?
Yeah, he's done a few other things as well. Shall I tell you the I don't reckon they're going to guess it.
Please do, yeah.
It's Wyatt Earp, that's the character. Then the film is Tombstone. It was Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell was Wyatt Earp and Val Kilmer was Doc Holliday.
And what was the line?
You're gonna do something or just stand there and bleed.
And that's Kurt Russell.
Okay, so I don't think anybody gets a point there, but we probably just take one away from Pratik. Just a dreadful impersonation. Okay, who's next? It must be Matt's turn.
Hello, kids.
Is it a film?
Yeah, I'm in a movie.
Is that Mickey Mouse?
No, but I think I've got a very similar voice to him.
Are you
Michael
Minnie
Jackson.
Mouse?
Michael Jackson.
I've got friends, but I'm not Michael Jackson.
Wow, it just sounds very Mickey Mouse or Michael Jackson to me.
I'm good friends with Santa.
Oh, I know who you are. You're the Christmas Pooh from South Park.
That's right, Pratik.
The Christmas.
Hello, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
What's the name of it? It's something the Christmas Pooh, isn't it? What's his name?
I think that's its name. I don't know if you'd give a name to a poo, would you?
No,
I'm Mr. Hanky.
Hanky, Mr. Hanky. The Christmas Pooh.
Well done, Pratik. I don't think I'd have ever got that. But yes, you get a point for a little poo. Let's move on to Chloe. It is your turn.
Dying ain't much of living, boy.
Wow, that was good. I don't know who it was, but it was good.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Oh, my God. That's Clint Eastwood.
Yes, I'm too good at this.
Gonna guess the film. Is it Dirty Harry?
Yeah, it could be.
No, I still don't think I've got any points. So
No, you're in second place. So you've got some. You're Pratik always loses. Chloe at the moment is in first place at the end of round 4. Well done, congratulations. So that just leaves us then with our quick fire round. As soon as you know the answer to this, all you got to do is shout it out. Let me know what it is. So question number 1: what is the name of Matt's podcast?
I know this one. It's the Matters That Matter with Matt and Matter. It's on Spotify and Anchor and all the other podcast platforms. So check that out.
Fantastic. And by the way, you do get double points for this round as well. So super. What was the name again? It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
It's The Matters That Matter with Matt and Matter. So my co-host is he was the British freestyle champion. He's a battle rapper, and we delve into a whole load of different topics. And it's again a politically incorrect podcast. If you're down with the funnies and don't want to complain, listen to the podcast. If you are a type of person who likes to complain about things, that is not the podcast for you.
If you're a Karen, don't listen, basically.
Unless you're a lovely Karen.
Yeah, we don't discriminate against Karens. Yeah.
And because you did such a great description there of the podcast, that's an extra 2 points as well. Fantastic. Okay, what's your website?
Oh, this is an easy round for me. It's www.Fong, F-O-N-G, comedy, comedy.com. And if you head over there, you'll find loads more about me, where I'll be featuring hopefully over the next future of gigs.
Super. You are steaming this round, you're right. So you're just pulling ahead very nicely at the moment. Last question then. This is the decider. You have got an amount of merchandise for some reason. What is it and how can we get our hands on it?
The answer to this question is I have got a stupid amount of t-shirts which have my name and my logo on and a little design at the back that was created by me. And the reason why I got all those is because I was supposed to be going on tour in 2020. So they were supposed to be the merchandise that sold at the shows there, but the tour got cancelled. So if you do want to buy a t-shirt, you would be helping me pay my mortgage and keep my wife off my back. So you can buy those at the website. Check that out, please.
Super. At the end of the quick fire round 5, you have, at the last moment, Matt, stolen it from Chloe.
Yes.
Matt's in first place. Chloe is in second.
In your face, Miss C.
Yeah. And bringing up the rear, as always, is Pratik. Well, listen, that's just about it from Pull the Other One this week. Just leaves me to thank our regular contestants, Chloe Sinclair, Pratik Barman, and of course, our fabulous special guest who has done a magical job and has quite literally done the best preparation out of all of us. It's Matt Fong. Thank you very much. That's it from us here. Stay with River Radio, and we'll be back with Pull the Other One, same time next week. Bye for